Ladies and gentlemen, it's Hot Legs, straight from the Wine Exchange, with wine expert Kyle Meyer.
A few weeks ago, I had a lot of fun doing that piece with Montepulciano, you know, the town or the grape of the town. Well, we're going to cover something kind of like that today, but a little simpler vein, huh? We're not going to get as aggro about it. Today, we're going to talk about Montelcino. Montelcino, okay? And there's confusion, of course, in Montelcino, not because they're necessarily Italian, and the Italians kind of just naturally lead to confusion many times. No, this is because of the area and the wines produced in the area. But it's in fact quite simple. We're going to do a little Montelcino 101 today on the low end, which isn't still very low because it's Montelcino, and kind of, fill you in. So, exciting time in Montelcino. Now, Montelcino is a town. It is a hilltop town, kind of in the middle of Tuscany, south of Chianti Classico. So you're making your way down the Chianti Highway, and you kind of bump into Siena, and you kind of go like, oh, what's past Siena? You know, and you stop for lunch, and you kind of get in the car, and go a little more south, and then you bump into Montelcino. And Montelcino looks damn impressive. It's a really cool. It's a pretty small hillside town, but you know, nice walls, and it's all fortified and old and crusty looking, and you can tell like Medicis were beating up people and Italians were fighting with swords, but they were really nice swords, right? You know, because they're Italian. It got that vibe to it, huh? And in the town, you go into town itself, and it's kind of like the Winchester House, you know, like these stairs leading to nowhere, you know, like these just drop-offs, like you're driving your car, and you know, freaky place, cool place. But what's special about Montelcino, besides the cool, freaky, scary town, are the vineyards. And and Montelcino has these fabulous vineyards. The soil is perfect. The exposure is perfect. The vineyards emanate from all around the town of Montelcino. So you got like the north side of Montelcino, which is a bit cooler. You got the south side of Montelcino, which is a bit warmer, huh? A little more sun and a little more southerly. And so you got a little variations in style, surprisingly enough, in Montelcino. But one thing that doesn't vary is the grape variety. And here we're talking 100% Sangiovese, in particular Sangiovese Grosso. And Sangiovese Grosso is the big Sangiovese. It's a bigger grape, and it has a brown skin, thus the name Brunello di Montelcino. Okay, Brunello di Montelcino refers to the brown tone of the skin of the Sangiovese Grosso clone that they grow there. It's a very special, unique clone. Folks in Chianti are using some of it now a bit, but it doesn't go the other way, right? You know, the guys in Brunello are like, okay, you can use ours, but no, we're not going to use yours, okay? Because to them, it's like the real deal, and they have good reason for it to be the real deal. Now, they make two wines in Montelcino. They make Brunello di Montelcino, and they make this stuff, Rosso di Montelcino. It all comes from the same vineyards. Okay, all of it is Montelcino. So technically, like in a super duper year, if they wanted to, they could produce 100% Brunello di Montelcino from their vineyards. Now, Brunello di Montelcino is kind of like the race car wine, the bling wine from these guys. You know, sells for $50, $70, $80, $100, $200 a bottle. That's the good stuff. They make the Rosso to kind of have their name out there, okay, for two reasons. A, the aging. You know, Brunello they have a minimum aging requirement for Brunello di Montelcino, which is, if memory serves, at least 4. I think it's 4 years all in all. See, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 4 years before the wine can come to market in barrel and bottle. With the Rosso di Montelcino wines, it's only 1 year. Okay, so what you can do is you can get your Montelcino name out there faster. You get cash faster. You're not sitting on your wine forever, and you kind of, people see the name, and it's a less expensive alternative. The bad side of that is, to them, it's the less expensive alternative. They're not making as much money. They get it faster, but they only get half the cash. Okay, so in a great vintage, they're a bit reluctant. They know they have to, but I think they're a bit reluctant to make a lot of Rosso di Montelcino, because they're like, well, geez, this could all be Brunello. I can make more money. And okay, now we'll make some. And that's what we have here. Two great producers in two great vintages, making two great Rosso di Montelcinos, ... begrudgingly. We're going to start with the La Rosina. La Rosina is fabulous stuff. A new school producer, young kid at the helm, but the deal is they're very soulful wines that taste like the area. They're very terroir-driven wines. And, there's two schools of Rosso di Montelcino. There's one that says, I'm going to taste like Baby Brunello. You know, that's the famous nickname for the Rosso di Montalcino wines, Baby Brunello. And there's another school that says, well, no, I'm Rosso di Montalcino. I'm my own distinct kind of gig. I'm not going to try and be Brunello. This falls into the Baby Brunello camp. You stick your face in the glass, you get those wonderful balsamic notes, you get the dried fruit, the dried herbs, cherries, dried cherries, very Brunello-esque on the nose. It smells more expensive than it actually is. Oh yeah, that's good. And it's got the grip, Seamus. It's got the grip. The firm tannins from the Sangiovese Grosso. These wines, you know, the Brunello's reputation, Brunello di Montalcino that is, reputation is ageability. These wines can sit in the cellar for a long time and grow and develop and become better with 10, 12 years. The Rossos are meant to be consumed earlier, but you can forget about them midterm. You can kind of put these wines in the cellar 3 to 5 years and get something out of it in the end. As you could with this wine. This kind of tastes like Brunello di Montalcino. 06, terrific harvest. Great wines. Classic wines, traditionally styled wines. So you get all the nuance of the area. They use very little, if any, new oak on these. And they tend to use usually those big barrels, huh? The big, like they use in Barolo and Barbaresco, the big barrels to age the wine in, because they want the wine to age slowly, gracefully, and not pick up more tannins. The wine already has enough structure, so they don't need more structure in the wine. So yeah, these usually all go into larger barrels. This is a great bottle of wine. Tastes like where it came from. What a deal. And maybe 20, you know, we sell for 22, 25 bucks on the shelf, most places. You know, half the price of a good Brunello, which is the way it should be. These wines shouldn't be more than $25. Now we come to a Celliera, which I think translated as like the birdhouse, birdcage, there's birds in the front. Andrea Cortonese bought this property in the mid-'80s. It's a pretty recent purchase. And he went all out straight away. This guy knows what he's doing. Not the folks at Racina don't, but this guy had a purpose when he bought this place. And I love his Rosso, particularly from 07. You want to talk about a juicy vintage? You want to talk about a year that's going to get people kind of stoked on Tuscan wines? You know, California Cabernet drinkers and Zinfandel drinkers. This is that vintage. These wines have gorgeous fruit. They're very rich, but still traditionally Toscano. They still have that grip, that structure. They still have good acidity, but there's a great density of black cherry fruit to the 07s. And Celliera's wine, I had this a couple months ago, and it really, really knocked me for a loop. Doing so again today. Smells great. Smells like you want to drink it. You know, a little less of that kind of smoky, leathery, balsamic character that you get in the Racino wine, and a little more of just straight up fruit. I mean, just black cherry, ripe Sangiovese, just coming at you, full bore. Beautiful. Good point. I'm tasting it now. You know, when they select the grapes to make the Rosso di Montalcino wines, sometimes it's a barrel selection thing. More often than not, they'll pick from the younger vines in the property, the vines that don't have the structure and the maturity yet to create a wine that can go through the aging process to become great Brunello di Montalcino. And that's what I taste here. That's why it doesn't taste as Brunello-y, because there's a freshness to this wine. There's a brightness. You know, there's a hey, you know, it doesn't take itself seriously. And I like that in this wine. And that freshness, that brightness on the palate is what immediately made me think of that, because this does taste like it comes from, you know, more impetuous youth type vines, because it has that wonderful sweet core fruit, but it maybe doesn't quite have the layers. Okay, and I think the Racina, if I'm not wrong, is probably made from older vineyards. But this one just has that gorgeous glossy fruit, and has the 07 vintage just working barn burners, just really delivering a lot of wine for the money. Also on the shelf, in that $25, $26 range. Their 04 Brunello, by the way, is one of the wines of the vintage. Absolutely outstanding. Their 07 Rosso just shows that these guys are on an amazing upward trajectory. I mean, they were good when they started, and now they're like really, really good. So there you have it, Rosso di Montalcino, Sangiovese from the town of Montalcino, aged a year, fresh, bright, could be Brunello-esque, might not be, but the best ones, as long as you get them south of 30 bucks, never buy a Rosso di Montalcino with a 3 in the price, okay? That's a rule. Never buy a Montalcino with a 3 in the price, because tell you what, You can buy a Brunello with a 4 in the price, and for the extra 10 or 15 bucks, I'm going there, mon frere. So value, 2 in the price, 19 bucks, 20 bucks, killer wines. Yum. Oh wait, what's Italian for yum? Yummo? Yummy? Cheers.